now present For the Record.
Just ahead, lawmakers decry violence after a Madison anti-abortion clinic is attacked.
There is no room in our society for criminal behavior as an expression of political thought.
Plus, COVID cases rising again in Wisconsin.
It is picking up, and we want to keep as many people safe and healthy as we can.
Welcome to For the Record. I'm Naomi Coles. Abortion remains in the headlines throughout this week. That's after a leaked Supreme Court opinion 2 weeks ago showing Roe v. Wade could be on the brink of being overturned. Local high school students joined in protests this week by the droves.
I know a lot of kids, their parents don't think the same way as them, and so a lot of kids may be scared to bring up the conversation, but I think this is more important. This is our rights. This is our body. This is our sovereignty that is being overlooked by the government.
One of the most prominent headlines, an arson attack with threatening graffiti left at an anti-abortion clinic on Madison's north side last Sunday. Now, as of Friday, when we're taping, there are still no arrests in this case, although police and the FBI are investigating. A manifesto posted anonymously online claiming responsibility for this and possibly more incoming attacks nationwide. Now, that brings me to my first guest today, Republican Representative Bryan Steil, who joined the rest of Wisconsin's congressional Republicans in signing on to a letter this week asking the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate this as well. Thank you so much for joining me, Congressman.
Thanks for having me on.
So my first question, the FBI is already part of this investigation, so why the DOJ?
We need to have a full investigation and to hold these criminals accountable. What we learned 2 summers ago is if we don't hold criminals accountable, things can spiral out of control. 2 summers ago, we saw destruction wrought across our country and including cities in the state of Wisconsin, including Kenosha and Madison. What we need to do is make sure that we don't allow criminals to be able to go unchecked. It's absolutely important that we protect people's First Amendment rights to peacefully assemble and petition their government. But there's a bright line between one's First Amendment right and criminal behavior. This arson attack in Madison is clear criminal behavior. We need to hold them accountable. And as a federal legislator, I want to make sure that we have the full resources of the federal government helping to bring those criminals to account.
For decades, though, abortion clinics have also been targeted for violence. So, for example, just this January, a Planned Parenthood clinic in Knoxville, Tennessee, went up in flames. Authorities called it arson. Another case, an Ohio man just pled guilty in February to threatening to kill a patient at a clinic and then bomb the clinic itself. So this is part of decades of very similar violence against abortion clinics. Where is the outrage for this?
There is no room in our society for criminal behavior as an expression of political thought. That involves all criminal activity. And so what we need to do is stand firm against all criminal activity as it relates to, in particular, this case, abortion and arguments on either side. And so this incident occurred in the state of Wisconsin. Is why I got involved. I saw firsthand what played out when political dialogue turned into criminal behavior 2 years ago. It spiraled out of control in our country. And so we need to be on the front lines of this, holding criminals accountable. And that's all criminals on all sides of the debate. There is no room for criminal behavior inside what is a very important topic that we're going to be continuing to discuss throughout this year.
The letter mentions that you've heard from other clinics around Wisconsin with concerns. Can you elaborate on that?
There are many threats being made to pro-life organizations across the state of Wisconsin, across the country. Not only the arson attack that did occur in the city of Madison, others have come to me and shared their concerns that they have been threatened. My recommendation for all those groups is to speak with the men and women of law enforcement to make sure that they have the protections they need. But as it relates in particular to this incident that did occur, we need to make sure we're utilizing all resources, including those at the federal government level, to make sure that we hold these criminals to account.
Allow me to pivot topics quickly for my last question. Your district, your congressional district, became much more competitive under new redistricting maps drawn by our state court. How does that reshape your race for re-election?
Yeah, the first congressional district was gerrymandered by Governor Evers. It presents opportunities and challenges. I'll be working and campaigning in some new areas of the state of Wisconsin. I look forward to that opportunity to be able to bring a message of how we can turn this country around. People are getting clobbered by higher costs. People are seeing crime rising. People are frustrated with the education being provided to their children. And so I think we have an amazing opportunity to go out and to speak to some new communities that are in the newly drawn 1st Congressional District, cities like Beloit and Whitewater, St. Francis, Cudahy, South Milwaukee, and share a message of how we can actually help people by solving the problems in front of us, first and foremost, rising costs that continue to clobber American families.
All right, Congressman, thank you so much for taking a few minutes today.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, how abortion groups supporting women preparing for Roe's over.